Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to your weekly dose of celestial goodness. As always, thank you for joining me in this space. Thank you for watching the videos, for liking and subscribing. I appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted and I don't take it lightly. I know that you could be doing something else, so the fact that you're here in this space with me, it really means a lot. So, thank you. The last several weeks have been a very beautiful experience for me. We have talked about the classic elements, water, earth, air, and fire. And we've really learned how special each one is and what are some good lessons that we can use to incorporate more of their lessons and their characteristics into our own lives. Most people believe that the story ends with the 4 classic elements. But there's another one, the 5th element. On one hand, the 5th element is very complicated and complex and a little bit difficult to explain. But on the other hand, it's very easy to explain because it's everywhere and it is in everything. You've probably heard about the 5th element as well without even realizing it. You may have heard it in movies, books, cartoons, music, without even realizing what they were talking about. So, as our first example, we're going to start with a movie. When I was a teenager, a movie came out that just absolutely fascinated me. And even many years later, I won't say how many, it's still a movie that I love. This movie had all the genres I love. It had action, sci-fi, fantasy, and comedy. If you had to guess the title and you guessed the 5th element, you would be right. In this movie, Earth's very survival is on the line. An age-old evil threatens to destroy Earth, and the only thing that can stop it is for these 4 mystical stones to combine. If you guessed that each of these stones represented one of the classic elements, you'd be right. But wait, there's a 5th element, and it's manifested in the form of a human being, and it is the key to activating the greatest weapon available to humanity to save us from this 5,000-year-old evil. The linchpin, though, is that the 5th element was activated by love. Love is such a powerful force, and when you look at all the things that are happening in the world right now, I think that love really is vital to helping us move towards a better place. I like to tease my mom that she's Captain Planet. And maybe this cartoon series, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, is just like before your time. And to me, it was seriously one of the funniest, most interesting cartoons when I was younger anyway. So the premise is that Mother Earth, or Gaia, also known as the spirit of the planet, had 5 magical rings that she distributed to 5 chosen kids across the world. Now, each of these rings had a connection to an element, and so the person who wore it was able to activate the power of this element. So Kwame was from Africa, and he controlled the power of earth. Wheeler was from North America with the power of fire. Linka from Eastern Europe, and she controlled the wind. And then we had G from Asia, and she controlled water. And then in South America, we had Mati. Now, he had the power of heart. If you asked any kid of the time, like, which power would you be? They would never say heart. They always said fire or earth. Something else that seemed a little bit more active. But to me, Matiz was really one of the most important and beautiful elements. And Gaia herself told him that he had the most important power because it connected all of the other elements. He was also very balanced. He was empathetic. I remember he could communicate with animals. I was like, oh, that's so cool. He was calm, understanding, and most of all, he could always see deeply into the truth of a matter. As an adult, I realized how important these qualities are, and I realized how amazing it was that the creators of this program actually included a character like this. When these 5 powers were combined, they created Captain Planet. They summoned him, and he was the Earth's greatest protector. So why would I tease my mom that she's Captain Planet? If you've watched all of the other videos, and if you look behind me, you know that I really love astrology, so it links to that. My mom has 4 children, and astrologically, we each represent a different element in the zodiac. I am the fire sign, my younger sisters are water and earth signs, and my brother is an air sign. My mom is also an earth sign, so I see her as the heart. She's sort of like the spirit of Mother Earth. And she's also my hero, which if you've watched Captain Planet, you know why that's important. I truly believe that what we need right now in humanity is more heart. When heart gets involved, people are able to relate better to each other, and we're able to really resolve some of the greatest problems that humanity faces. So getting back to the element of spirit. In ancient Greece, some of the most well-known philosophers, like Aristotle, felt that something was missing from the equation of these 4 classic elements. There had to be something else, but what was it? So they came up with this notion of ether, spelled A-E-T-H-E-R. The word ether comes from ancient Greece, and it actually means upper air or pure fresh air. They actually believe that this was the air that the gods were breathing. Okay? As time moved forward, you came up to the medieval times, and medieval alchemists actually referred to this space, this 5th element, as the quintessence. Quintessence is Latin, and it literally means the 5th element. It was thought that this element had a pure and heavenly quality. Later, scientists like Albert Einstein would observe that ether actually occupied the space between all things. He actually used his study about ether to come up with further work on wave theory, the theory of relativity, and also a concept that a lot of physicists and chemists know about, known as dark matter. Also, if you read a lot of comic books or watch a lot of comics, then you also probably have heard of dark matter. The rapper Nas also has a song from back in the day called Ether, and to really understand the depths of the lyrics, you have to know where this word is coming from. But because of the nature too of historical research and what has been lost to time, we can imagine that other civilizations before the Greeks had a term for this phenomenon. You know, the phenomenon of what is nothing and everything. In Eastern and other traditions, this concept is known as chi, prana, or mana. To the Polynesians, and last week in the fire video, I mentioned Mori from the demigod that we've seen in Moana, for example. But to the Polynesians, mana, or some people say mana, was the spiritual life force and this healing energy that permeates through the entire universe. Whatever the name, this is the primary energy found in the universe. It is an impersonal force that resides in all things, animate and inanimate objects, and it really is within all the spaces. It's a very vital, life-giving energy. Prana is a term that you'll hear a lot in Hindu philosophy, and prana is the breath. It's considered life-giving force. This is the universal force that flows in and around the body. So there's a very strong emphasis, as I said, on prana in Hindu philosophy. And if you've ever meditated or if you've ever done yoga, you've probably heard the term prana. You've probably also been encouraged to focus on your breathing, and you may have been encouraged to focus on a mantra. If you've learned about mantras, then you've probably heard the term Om. And if I say Om and just let it kind of resonate, my body even starts to feel different. The reason for this is that Om is said to be the sacred sound of the universe. It is an all-encompassing cosmic vibration of the universe. And when you look at the Om symbol, each aspect of that symbol represents an important part of an aspect of our reality. There's the unconscious state, we have the waking state, the dream state, illusion, also known as Maya, and then we have the absolute state, which is this blissful state, and it's also a state that everyone is really reaching towards. We want bliss. I would also argue that in the state of bliss, that we are everything and yet nothing. In that state, we are pure unconditional love. Unconditional love is exactly what it sounds like. It's love without conditions. Just as prana is ether and the vital energy of spirit is everywhere, so is love. Love is unlimited. The greatest lesson of the element of spirit, therefore, is love. Ziggy Marley has a beautiful song called Love is My Religion. I believe that the fifth element is fundamentally all of our religions. No matter what you have chosen as your religious or spiritual path, there's always a reference and deference to love. Spirit and love are with us at all times, even if the experiences of the world have overshadowed, that. And we know love, but sometimes because of our experiences, we forget it. I do think, though, that is what everyone is ultimately seeking. But if we stop for just one moment, we would realize that spirit and love are constant. We need not seek for these things. They're already with us. They're already present. They just are, and we just are. How do we remember that we're love? Just breathe. The fact that you can do that, you're alive, you have an opportunity to give and to receive love. When we become conscious of that vital life force, that energy within us, we should seek to see that as well in others. The term namaste means I bow to the divine in you. It is used as both a greeting and a parting statement. Imagine a world where we could not only see the beauty and the love within ourselves, but in each person that we met, in each thing that we met, in each animal, in the earth, and everything around us. Just imagine that. The world that we live in is in dire need of people who remember themselves. What do I mean by that? These are people who remember love, who remember that they are love. They don't have any reason to seek it. You don't have to be worth it. You are already worth it. These are people who remember to breathe deeply and to remember that our essential essence is love. It's the love for self, it's the love for others, it's the love for this planet that we live on, and it's a love for the future generations who will inherit the planet. So how do we incorporate more lessons of love and spirit into our lives? The first is very simple. is that we become aware that we are breathing. There is power in breathing. And I would ask you, how are you breathing right now? Are you taking shallow breaths, or are these deep, purposeful, and calming? Feel that energy moving through your body. The second way is through meditation and prayer. Through meditation, we quiet our mind, and through prayer, we form a relationship with the divine. We flex our spiritual muscle, and this is something that takes practice, as if you were doing some kind of physical activity. Meditation is not easy. For some people, yes, but for some of us, we really have to work at it. Through a clear mind, though, from meditating, you have the ability to see things from a different perspective and to make decisions and choices that come from a place of love. The third thing is that you could do something kind for someone else. A random act of kindness. You don't have to share it with the whole world. But if that person is so inclined to want to do something, you could encourage them to pay it forward. And in so doing, you're setting off this domino effect of kindness. The fourth thing that you can do is extend love to yourself. I encourage you this week to say 3 kind things to yourself every day. That's right. Sing it from the rooftop, sing it in the bathroom, say it in the mirror. You know, you're a kind person, you're beautiful, you're smart, you are living your life purpose. You are doing all the things you want to do. You're getting better every day, like fine wine. And I would actually be curious to hear how you feel at the end of the week after doing this. The fifth thing would be to practice gratitude. Gratitude is such an amazing way to remember love, to remember to appreciate that which is already here, and to open the door so that more of your desires can actually flood in. Kurt Vonnegut used to say, when things were going really well, he'd look up and he'd say, "More of this, please." I often do that, and I've experienced some amazing things in my life because I think the door for gratitude allows more of those wonderful experiences to come in. The sixth thing would be to do something good for the earth. Pick up trash, volunteer, donate resources to an organization that is doing something for the earth. This is where we live, it's our home. There is no other earth as of yet to go to. So for right now, let's treat her well. And the seventh thing ties into that, which is to connect to nature. When was the last time you went outside and just marveled at how everything was just so vivid, so colorful, so green, so vibrant? Please take a moment and reconnect to nature. And finally, be open to the signs that you are receiving from Spirit that life is working out. Too often we focus on the things that are not going well, and that sort of absorbs our whole life. But if you look around, there are things that are happening that are just absolutely wonderful, and some that are happening in your own life. So start with the breath and think of 3 things that are going absolutely well for you right now, and let that energy permeate everything else. And so now I will say to you, Namaste. I bow to the divine in you. I hope that in the week ahead and onward, that you are not only able to incorporate lessons from Spirit and love, this 5th element, the quintessence, the essence of who we are, but from all of the elements that we have talked about leading up to this. The world needs your love right now. We need whatever essence you bring. You can make a difference where you are with whatever resources you have. And I actually truly believe in you to do that. Also, I love you. Yes. Let that energy resonate and carry you through this week. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and share with your friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you.